Welcome back to the Future Strong podcast. We're all about giving you the tools to build a life you love, and today we're diving into something that can really make a difference.
Absolutely.
Positive thinking.
It really is more than just putting on a happy face and crossing your fingers.
Right.
It's understanding how your thoughts actually shape your reality and then using that knowledge to create a life that is both fulfilling and resilient.
I love that you said resilient because that's really what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
It's about being able to bounce back from challenges and, not just surviving, but thriving.
Exactly.
Right.
And it all begins with understanding that how we experience the world around us is so heavily influenced by our interpretations, not necessarily just events themselves.
So it's not just what happens to us, it's how we think about what happens to us.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like we're all wearing these personalized glasses.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Yeah. And, sometimes those glasses get a little smudged with what we call cognitive biases.
Okay, so tell me more about that. What are cognitive biases?
Well, they're basically these mental shortcuts that our brains use to kind of simplify all of the information that's coming at us constantly.
Oh, so it's like a way for our brain to kind of filter things and make sense of the world.
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes those shortcuts, they can lead to some distorted thinking,
Interesting. Okay, so can you give me an example?
Yeah. So imagine you lock yourself out of your house.
Oh, I've done that.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
And then that little voice in your head pops up and says, ugh, I'm such an idiot.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But is it really about your intelligence or is it just a simple mistake?
Yeah, anyone could have done that.
Exactly, a human mistake.
Okay, so it sounds like cognitive biases can really trip us up and make us think things are worse than they actually are.
They certainly can. And, that's where positive thinking comes in. It's about recognizing those thought traps.
Right.
And learning how to clean those lenses.
So we can see things more clearly.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do we do that? How do we start challenging these, irrational beliefs and really embracing more of a positive mindset?
Well, awareness is the first step,
Okay.
Just start noticing those automatic negative thoughts that pop up. And, just ask yourself, is this really true?
Yeah.
Or am I just, catastrophizing?
Oh, yeah, making a mountain out of molehill.
Exactly. And once you've identified those patterns, you can start to gently challenge them.
So it's not about, like you said before, you're pretending that everything is perfect or ignoring problems.
No, not at all.
It's about bringing a more balanced and realistic perspective.
Exactly.
Okay, so positive thinking isn't about ignoring reality. It's about choosing to focus on the good, even when things are tough.
Absolutely. And, it's not a magic wand.
Okay.
It's not going to make all your problems disappear.
Right.
But it can be a very powerful tool.
Okay. I'm listening.
It can help us shift from a mindset of helplessness to one where we feel more empowered.
Yeah, I could see that.
To actually take action.
So it's about kind of shifting our perspective from I can't do this to how can I do this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's say you're facing a career setback.
Okay.
Instead of getting bogged down in, I'll never find another job.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
You can start to ask yourself, well, what skills do I have that are transferable?
Yeah.
What opportunities can I explore? It's about moving forward.
So it's about focusing on what we can control rather than what we can't.
Exactly. And that brings us to the topic of optimism.
Okay.
Which is really closely tied to positive thinking.
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of use those terms interchangeably, but it sounds like there's a bit of a nuance there.
There is a little bit.
So what's the difference between just being positive and actually being optimistic?
Well, true optimism, it's about acknowledging the difficulties, but simultaneously holding on to the belief that things can get better.
So it's not about denying the reality of the situation.
No, not at all.
It's about recognizing that, okay, this is tough, but I believe that things can improve.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that even in the midst of hardship, there are opportunities for growth.
And learning.
Yes.
So it's almost like a resilience muscle that we can strengthen over time.
That's a great way to put it.
So we've talked about positive thinking. We've talked about optimism. What about happiness?
Well,
Yeah.
happiness is interesting.
Yeah.
While pain is an inevitable part of life, it's going to happen.
Right. We can't avoid it.
We can't avoid it.
Right.
Happiness doesn't have to be fleeting.
That's interesting. I think a lot of people think of happiness as this kind of temporary state. You have a good day, you eat some chocolate, you feel happy, but then it fades.
Yeah, and we often chase it. as if it's a destination.
Like we're going to arrive at happiness.
Yeah, when we reach a certain milestone or we acquire that, specific possession.
Okay.
But, true contentment, it comes from finding joy in the present moment, even when things are tough.
So it's about finding those little moments of joy, even in the midst of challenges.
Exactly. It's like appreciating that first cup of coffee in the morning or the feeling of the sun in your skin.
So instead of waiting for happiness to come to us, we can cultivate it in our everyday lives.
Exactly.
That's really powerful. I love that. But how do we actually shift our focus to the present?
Yeah.
It's easy to say, be present, be mindful, but it's a lot harder to do.
It is.
Especially when, we're constantly bombarded with distractions and, things that are pulling for our attention.
Yeah. Mindfulness practices, like meditation, can be so helpful. Even taking just, a few minutes each day to consciously focus on your breath, on your senses, just on the simple act of being. That can really train your mind to come back to the present moment.
So it's like a muscle that we can develop over time.
Exactly. And another powerful tool.
Okay, give me another one already.
As gratitude.
Oh, I love gratitude.
It's so powerful. Just actively noticing and appreciating the good things in your life, no matter how small they are.
Right.
That can create such a sense of abundance and joy.
Even amidst challenges.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got mindfulness, we've got gratitude. What are some other things that we can do to kind of retrain our brains to focus on the positive?
Well, it's really about becoming aware of those negative thought patterns.
Okay.
And consciously choosing to shift our focus.
So we're not just passive recipients of our thoughts.
No, we have more agency than we realize.
Okay.
Remember what Hippocrates said?
Let's see.
Men ought to know that from nothing else but the brain. Come joys, delights, laughter, and sports.
Okay.
And sorrows, griefs, despondency, and lamentations.
Wow, that's powerful. It's all coming from our brains.
It is.
So we really do have the power to choose how we feel.
We get to decide.
Wow, this has been such an eye-opening conversation. It's so easy to feel like we're at the mercy of our thoughts and emotions. But you've really given us some concrete tools and strategies that we can use to cultivate a more positive outlook.
Absolutely. And remember, it's not about denying reality.
Right.
It's about navigating life with resilience.
And hope.
Yes.
So for our listeners out there, I want to leave you with this question. What small step can you take today to start cultivating a more positive outlook in your own life? Maybe it's starting a gratitude journal. Maybe it's trying a 5-minute meditation.
Whatever works for you.
Whatever works for you, exactly. Remember, even small changes can have a big impact. So start small, be consistent, and watch how your life begins to transform.
I love that.
Thanks for joining us on the Future Strong podcast. We'll see you next time.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.